One of the mental models that is very front and center for me is that I run into people who criticize Gandhi, who criticize Buffett, who criticize all kinds of people who are, from my perspective, great or phenomenal. If they can criticize Gandhi, then who am I? Like Buffett says, we can choose to live our life with an inner scorecard or an outer scorecard. And it's really important to live by an inner scorecard. So you are not going to silence the critics. And the critics will say all kinds of things, and they may be fair or unfair or whatever. But I love Teddy Roosevelt's quote about the man in the arena, which it is not the critic who counts. I have that quote right here on my wall. I'm just going to read you a couple of parts of it, right? So credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again. That's very important. Who comes up short again and again. He's human, okay? He's not perfect. He's not always able to prevail because there is no effort without error or shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumphs of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. I just think that, to me, it's all about the man in the arena. And the man in the arena is not perfect. He comes up short. He's bloodied and scarred and whatever, but he keeps persevering, ignores the critics, right? And so I think that's our job. Is we don't need to be in a walled garden. Munger and Buffett have been in an open field with all kinds of people saying all kinds of things about him. I mean, people criticize Warren all the time. I think, yeah, the outer scorecard, inner scorecard, those are great models to have.
So Morgan, last time you were in Cincinnati a couple of years ago, we had dinner and we were talking about the good old days at the Motley Fool, where we crossed paths for the first time. And I was wondering, since your career has gone off to such great heights, was there an article or something at the Motley Fool that happened where you thought, this is something I can do for a career?
Even at the Motley Fool, if I wrote a piece that I was really proud of and got a lot of positive feedback, but 5 people said it was the worst thing they've ever read that week, it would just ruin my entire day, ruin my entire week. And so the first couple of years of writing at the Motley Fool were very emotionally challenging for me because of that. I was so young. I didn't have any experience as a writer. Early on, I really don't think I was any good at it at all. And I was getting negative feedback all day. It was brutal for me. And so maybe to the opposite of your point, not only was there, I can't think of a time when I was like, oh, I can really make a go of this. It was constant, what am I doing? I can't believe I'm doing this. I started the Motley Fool in 2008, which was, of course, the Great Recession. Everyone in finance was blowing up and laying people off. And so for my first couple of years, I didn't do it because I enjoyed it or I thought I was good at it. I did it because I needed a paycheck, period. That was it. Now it changed after that. And I did started enjoying it and whatnot, but that was tough at first. I think if there was any kind of moment in my career where I thought I can really make a go of this, it's when I stopped trying to write the same things that everybody else was writing, which was, here's what the stock market's doing. Here's what stocks you should buy. Not that that's bad, but there's so many people doing it. And when I started being like, I'm going to throw all that away. I'm interested in behavior and psychology, and I like telling stories. And even if people don't want me to do that, it's what I like doing for better or worse. And I'm just going to run at this thing. I had lunch with Jason Zweig in probably 2012, let's say, around that time. And he gave me one piece of advice that I took very seriously. He was like, figure out a style of writing and a beat, so to speak, that nobody else is doing, and just grab a hold of it and don't let go of it. You have to find a way to do it on your own terms. And if you write the same stuff that everyone else is writing, it's never going to work.
Yeah. Why do you think your style has appealed to now tens of millions of books being sold?
I think similar to what we just said, I think there was a point in which I said, I don't care what anyone else thinks what I write. I stopped caring about the people who said this article sucked. I stopped caring about that. And I said, I'm going to now write for an audience of one, and that is me. I don't care about any but what else is what they want to hear or what they think of it. the sole litmus test that I'm going to have when writing is, do I like this story? Do I like this topic? Am I satisfied with that sentence that I just wrote? And if the answer is yes, we've checked every box that I need to. I have this theory that almost everybody in the world is a very good writer when they write in private. And so if anyone listening to this were to write a diary that nobody else would read, they would write beautiful prose and tell a great story and be very insightful about the topic that they're thinking about. But as soon as they start thinking about other people's eyeballs on it and trying to appease everybody and write in a way that's going to get the least amount of criticism, everyone turns into a crap writer at that point. You're just trying to pander to the lowest common denominator, and it turns out exactly like you would think. And maybe I think the only thing that I've done slightly different, and it's not even that different anymore, a lot of people do it now, is most finance content is an analytical lecture. It's analytical in terms of like, here's the formula and the data. And it's a lecture of basically saying, even if it's indirect, saying, this is the right way to do it. And if you're not doing it this way, you're an idiot. And people don't want to hear, they don't want either of those two things. If instead you can deliver an empathetic story, here's a story of someone dealing with risk and uncertainty, and you reader, go figure it out what that means in your own life. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to lecture you and tell you do it, you're wrong. Here's an interesting story about risk and uncertainty. Go figure out what to do with it for yourself. I think that's what I've tried to do. And I think that is somewhat unique in financial content.